Mm.
Only the heart can judge. Don't worry. As long as we're together, I can do anything.
Light up the dark. Mountains move, kraken rise! Earth shatters, heaven trembles! Soaring above the lands, this is permanence!
I choose you. Flowers bloom for tomorrow. Memories waiting to be woken up by a shooting star. Remember me with love. May world bearing ignite the dawn. Don't blink. May you fulfill love's purpose with me. Cleanse hatred with love.
Soaring above the lands, this is permanence!
We can do anything.
Fury of innumerable core flames consume me. Hail the new dawn! Quench the flames of blood!
Ugh.
Her agony! Is that all? The sun tear the sky! Quench the flames of blood! Is that all? Is that all? Granted with strife! Is that all? Is that all? Hail the new dawn! So without substance. Is that all? Quench the flames of blood! Is that all? Her agony! Is that all? Tear the sky!
Is bro muted? No. I just don't want to be rage baited.
All stars burn to ash. Hail the new dawn!
Oh my god. Farming for Evanesia is just torture.
Let me see
Why do I even bother? Going on my other accounts. Yes, Irene comes out today. I forgot. Is it in like 4 hours or like 6? I don't remember. There we go. Man, I'm getting really tired of it, man. I don't know. I suck at being unbothered.
Earth shatters, heaven trembles.
I choose you. Step onto the board. Your downfall.
All I see on social media is people saying they killed the characters. Yep. And when I go out of my way to check testers on videos recently, I go into the comments. You know what I see? Oh, I got slightly better performance with my saber. Oh, the Ashblade team did get nerfed, but if you put him on Eagle, it's not so bad.
With this divine power, I reforge
But
all things.
people on social media will tell you they killed Gilgamesh for saber. The Ashblade team is completely done and Gilgamesh is complete garbage. He's the worst character to ever be conceived.
To the soul. Insanity. With this divine power, I reforge all things.
Is there anything you need?
5 hours. So at 12.
Be grateful for
Now it's just another DPS sub DPS team like we already have many of. I mean, like, it's either that or an infinite ult loop. They start putting limits on mechanics. I mean, that's what they did, no? Unless you mean generally. But the joint attack is 8, and it used to be a lot less. It used to be like 3 saber actions. The energy got nerfed. His action advance got changed to speed buffing. Because his action advance gonna get triggered way too often in higher investment teams. Cool planet. Yeah. It's pretty nice. The gameplay has to be boring because these devs can't figure out a good workaround. Yes. Like, unfortunately, that's just how it is. Yes. Do you want me to lie? You think I've said it. I said it before anyone else. These devs are incompetent at doing power creep that doesn't lead to some bullshittery. And it finally caught up to them. They don't know how to both make the kits incredibly fun gameplay wise and get rid of the infinite ult loops within a couple of weeks. They're like incapable of it. It's probably just too fast for them. And they like need more time to plan that shit out. Why do I have Scholar on my welt? When did this even happen? They lacked foresight? Yeah. Seeing relics again gives me PTSD. It's not fun, man. It's not fun. I'm struggling with the relic farming lately for Evanescia. I mean, I don't know. The only thing I'm annoyed at is mainly the community just spreading misinformation. I'm getting like Yao Guang beta. Like, I'm starting to feel the same way slowly and slowly. And I'm like trying my hardest to not go the full length and start making videos clearing up the misinfo. But it's like so hard. Like, I just hate the misinfo that's being spread about the performance. Will you get E2 Cyrene? Hell no. This account is pulling Himiko because I have Sunday and Welt on it, so. Hello. I'm annoyed at the competence. That's fine. I think that's like a good reason to be mad. Because you're not saying, oh, they absolutely butchered him in V4, and now Saber is even more of a brick. And like he does nothing for Saber and stuff like that. Like, you're not lying, but you're also like disappointed. I think you should make a video. No, because like if I end up making a video, it's gonna be another Yao Guang beta situation. Like, most people aren't gonna listen to me anyways. They've already made up their mind. Like, I swear to God, this morning when I woke up, I decided to go through like the tester opinions, right, while the gameplays were releasing. And because, like, obviously you have all these people doom posting, like, is there something I'm missing? No. Like, the majority of the Saber testers were saying this actually feels basically the same. And for the more casual testers, they found it to be actually better in V4 than V3 because of the increased attack and crit damage buff. And they were like, oh, I went from 2 cycles in the last version to 1 cycles now. But the only common consensus is that the Ashblade team got nerfed. That one did. So you need like one more cost in comparison to before to be as strong as before with the Ashblade comp and Gilga is kind of the thing I'm seeing currently. But what I find so weird is like it's Saber mains that are complaining the most about how he's bricked for her now, despite it just not being the case. You have some really bad takes sometimes. Like what? And when did I say I was perfect? It feels like you're just rage baiting and instigating me. Like, people will argue against calcs, spreadsheets, and actual gameplay with their own emotions, and somehow I'm the problem. Like, I'm the one who's at fault for not allowing misinformation to be spread and telling the truth about it. They want him to be as strong as Rin to Archer. My brother in Christ. Gilga is stronger for buffing Saber than Rin is to Archer. Like, do you not understand just how bad Saber is without Gilga? Exactly, Hyper. What most people want and what they should just say is I like Saber Gilga more than Archer Rin. I want Saber Gilga to be on the same if not stronger level than Archer Rin, who has Nova Sparkle. And we're comparing it to like Saber teams that are using RMC and M-Blade. Which like M-Blade is strong, don't get me wrong. But once it, like there's such a high ass chance that this Saber Gilga team gets buffed by Nova Sunday. It's the most obvious indirect buff I've ever seen in my life, next to Nova Sparkle for Archer. They're both just as obvious. Yes, that's basically it, Kiwi. I mean, to be fair, at least Saber mains aren't doing as idiotic of Doom posting as I'm seeing some Himiko mains do. Now, here's the thing. The majority of the Himiko mains actually have half a brain. So they're like, even telling their own people, yo, you're like overly complaining, like she isn't that bad. Like, I went to a few Himiko clears recently, and people were like, oh my god, she's bricked. She's Phanon level now. She's absolutely bricked. She doesn't. She can't zero cycle at 2 cost. Oh my goodness, it's over. Oh my fucking god. By the way, the bad takes you have, one of them is the power creep in HSR is worse than WUA when you don't even play WUA according to you. Oh my god. I don't play WUA actively anymore. I've been playing WUA since literally the first day of release. It's just that I've taken breaks in between. You think I've never cleared all their endgame? I have, just on a different account. I haven't cleared it on my new one because I'm vertically investing like S6 on every DPS that I like. So I don't even have enough characters to clear it. I already have another WUA account that has done every endgame it has. And it was easier. Because it has less power creep. Like, it's just undeniable. I can give a clear as day example. Carlotta is 1.6 million DPR. Carlotta actually got a bit of a buff with Lene. It's probably 1.7 now, but for argument's sake, right? Carlotta's old team from over a year ago is 1.6 million DPR. The new strongest team in the entirety of the game is 2.5 million DPR, right? This is around a slightly above 50% increase in the damage ceiling in over a year, right? When you look at HSR, E2 Himiko is more than twice as strong as E2 Phenon. They're both 1 year apart. So in WUA, the difference is 50% after a year. In HSR, it's more than twice the strength after a year. Look at DPR when it favors longer rotations. I'm using 25 seconds as the average rotation DPR. You're just being dense on purpose. You don't know what you're talking about. It's blatantly obvious. The issue with WUA isn't its power creep. The issue with WUA is the fact that the baseline of characters comparative to endgame content is not as strong as new HSR releases, and their vertical investment isn't anywhere near as good as HSR's either. But they have less power creep than HSR. It's absolutely undeniable. They have less HP inflation as well. The HP inflation HSR has gotten in like the last 2 patches is more than WUA has gotten in the last half year. Yeah, but Yang Yang's currently in beta, so that's why I'm not going to fully consider it yet. I do think it'll go live, but you never know with betas. WUA inflated 45%? I don't think so. I'm pretty sure that 45% number is probably for like one specific floor. I don't think it's overall. Like, there are some floors that don't get changed. There's other floors who get a 20% increase. Then there's like one big change on one specific floor that gets like 3 million HP, so that's like a 40% increase. You aren't clearing middle tower last stage with Carlotta? I already saw a video of someone doing it, man. Like, I get it. It might not be as easy for a casual player in a full S0 Lotta team. But, like, once again, this doesn't even have anything to do with power creep. This probably has to do with Lotta getting bricked by either elemental resistance or she's getting bricked by the shilling just not favoring her. Like, power creep is the characters becoming stronger, in which it's just nowhere near on the level of HSR. Better than E2 already? Yeah. That's why she got nerfed recently, Kiwi. Himiko got nerfed by like 25% total. I thought they were shilling Glacio Chafe. You think Glacio Chafe does anything for Carlotta? She's not a negative status DPS. Oh, I see, I see. I mean, the point is, Naruto, that you are just wrong. You tried to bring up that one of my bad takes was that Wuwa had less power creep than HSR. I bring up a perfectly good example, and then you just go saying, oh, that's not valid. Because I struggle with my Carlotta to clear, or other people struggle with their Carlotta to clear. Like, this has nothing to do with power creep. That has to do with, like, Wuwa has some of the most hyper-specific endgame shilling that can either completely fuck over a team, or it massively helps an older team clear, like, a lot easier. Like, that's the problem with Wuwa's endgame. It's more, like, hyper-specific sometimes, which can fuck some teams over. But the game has less power creep than HSR. It just does. They shill every new character? Yeah, I know. That's my point. Like, not only are the new characters, like, stronger than everybody else, but then they put a little bit of cherry on top with the shilling as well, which makes it look way worse than it actually is. But, like, by the time that new character gets out of shilling, they also start to feel, you know, not the greatest. Like, people were doing this with Cart on her release, being like, oh, you only need a solo S0 Cart, and you're able to clear all endgame content, like the hardest endgame content. While there was like the arrow erosion shilling at the time because of Chakona and her. But like over time that becomes way, way, way harder. In HSR, like the most hyper specific you can get with like shield buffs in HSR is usually AA. Or like I guess PF to some extent. But like MOC, you never really see that type of shilling, to be honest. Unless it's like enemy shilling, right? Like specific enemy bricks certain teams or elevates other teams. But even then, it's like a rare case. I'm not gonna lie. Yang Yang is strong? Yeah, she is. She's the new strongest DPS. A character that came out ages ago ain't clearing shit? I mean, they are. You just have to put a bit of investment in them. That's just kind of how it goes. Yeah. Like, for example, I was talking about it on yesterday's stream. The two extremes of Wuwa endgame players is absolutely hilarious. Because you have one side that is like, I can't clear. And then it's usually mostly due to like some skill issue. But like, it's understandable, right? They have a point. There's HP inflation, it's getting harder. And then they get completely berated because they aren't playing like fucking, you know, one of the speedrunners. But then there's the other extreme of like, people are like, oh, I don't know what you're talking about. Endgame feels the exact same. Like, no joke. I'm not making these scenarios up in my head. I was scrolling through Reddit yesterday and I came across a Wua post talking about how Endgame got harder. Someone in the comments was like, oh, I don't feel it, right? I don't feel the HP inflation. So someone asked them, like, what are your teams? S3 Cart, and then the shield team on the tower right now, which is the Cyberpunk team. They're like, oh, I don't feel it. I don't feel the HP inflation. Of course you don't feel it. I wonder why you don't feel it. Even Tone Taz has been doom posting TOA lately. I mean, yeah, they are like out of nowhere. I will say, at least within like the last couple like Wua patches, they've been kind of weird with their power increases, which I'm assuming is what's leading to this HP inflation. I don't know. It's like un-Wua esque. They've never really done like this many consecutive like damage ceiling jumps before. So I could kind of understand the doom posting, but then again, like Saint sucks at Wua. Like the guy doesn't bother putting in any effort at all unless it's like fucking Gion. It's nice to have you here again, Kiwi. You are telling me to invest when a character disappears after their third or second rerun? Okay. That is kind of valid. I'm not gonna lie. That is a good point. Wua and older character reruns don't exactly go together. So it could be hard to reinvest depending on how old the DPS is. That's actually a good point. I mean, I don't know, man. I don't know. Are investments on 1.x Wua units even good? For the most part, no. But there are some where, like, you can at least see some returns. Like, most notably, Camellia. Carlotta's is kind of weak, but, like, at least, once again, you see some returns. And Carlotta's, like, early 2.x. Like, the majority of 1.x vertical investment is garbage. I think it's just Cammy and Jin Shi who at least get something, maybe. But it's like, actually, no. I remember Jinshi having terrible sequences. I think I'm wrong. It's weird they don't rerun older characters. I mean, in fairness, HSR does kinda the same thing. Like, when's the last time you saw Yun Li or Jade rerun? You know? Like, they do kinda do the same thing. But, I don't know. I think the difference is because of this game having Nova flares, sometimes older characters end up getting reran because of their Nova. which makes it at least more consistent than Wuwa. Yeah, true. They also have the golden token shop, and they have the 50-50 loss. Peace out, Bob. I have much easier time in HSR. Oh yeah, I agree. Like, here's the thing. I think Wuwa has slower power creep than HSR. It has a multitude of other issues that can bring it down more than HSR in terms of like the average person being able to clear endgame though. But I still stand on my point that Wuwa has less power creep than HSR. But yes, I've been saying this since the Novas became more consistent, since the Golden Token Shop, since the consistent release of the free 5 stars. I think HSR is the easiest for clearing its endgame of like all the mainstream games currently. I think it is the easiest. Because of all the QOL and stuff that they've added. On top of this, this game has the best vertical investment, so it's the one where you're most rewarded for going into for it. Once again, Nova Flares, an older character, can just come back. Like, my E2 Firefly account, it's not like I pulled Firefly just now, you know? Like, Firefly just got Nova Flared, she got Dahlia. Firefly is already, yeah. Firefly is now a 2-year-old DPS because she released in 2.3. So she's a 2-year-old DPS who is in like the top 5 in the entirety of the game of clearing because of buffs. I didn't even have to do anything. I didn't even have to do anything. True, Verly, true. Can we have 4x speed soon too? Real. Make the dailies even faster. I did start another free-to-play account in HSR and it feels easy. Yeah, exactly. Like, you have the golden token shop with Nova Welt, Robin, and Nova Huohuo, right? You're about to get another free Archer or Gilgamesh choice upcoming soon. You can decide which one you want. There's probably going to be another free 5-star in 4.6. You just made a fresh account, meaning there's probably like 500 to 600 pulls worth that you can farm in overworld and main questing and stuff. Like, it's easy. All you need to do, get Himiko, run it with RMC plus Welt, and then use whatever sustain, right? Hopefully you're able to get Gallagher somehow. And then let's use the other team on like Ashblade. You're done. That's all it takes. You're done instantly. Like, this probably takes 1.5 patches of playing to like attain this, and you can clear all endgame. Not anymore because no third team? Yeah, but that only matters for Star Ward and AA. But I guess if you care about those two, you could just invest in... I don't know. I mean, you can invest in whatever the fuck you want, to be honest, on the third team. I don't know. It just goes down to personal preference, I guess. You can invest into Elation. You can invest into a Fate team like Archers or Sabers. You can invest into something else. I don't know. I got E4 Welt and M-Blade. Reckon Avon SP will rock that? No. Maybe in sustainless, but not in a sustain team. Because Avon's full team should be Ashvale M-Blade. But yeah, it should be, like, that should work in sustainless. Yeah, Verly, yeah, true. What's your favorite map in HSR? To be honest, it might be the new area. I'm a big sucker for like snow areas because I mean I live in Canada and I really like snow and the cold. So I like this one. It's also like dark, it's not too bright, like it just looks so beautiful. Do you think V5 will change anything? No, not really. The thing is, a lot of people may disagree with me. I do think that no matter what, Nova Sunday is going to be an upscale for the Saber Gilgamesh team. So like in my head, I think the Saber Gilgamesh team, they already have it where they want it. Because by the time they get Nova Sunday, they'd probably be as strong, if not stronger, than Archer Rin, to be honest. So it would be in line with Archer's team. And it'd have Sunday's reworked E1 investment, which is disgusting. 40% defense shred, right? But the only thing I can really imagine them possibly changing is if they do see that the Ashblade synergy got nerfed more, like maybe they slightly buff him towards the Ashblade team, but there's a real chance they just don't care because he's supposed to be a Saber character. And they never originally intended him to be for the Ashblade team anyways, I imagine. Like, in my head, there's just no way Nova Sunday isn't best in slot over M-Blade. Because of the fact that, like, one, the interest stacks on Gilgamesh are now way less important than before. Meaning M-Blade's attack frequency isn't that important. Like, it used to be very important at higher investments because you could get a ton of action advances in a row, but that just isn't the case anymore, right? So his attack frequency isn't as valuable as it used to be. You're really just using him because of his own damage, his ability to use ult decently easily, and his vertical investment at that point. Which Sunday Nova can match all of that, but then also be more tailored for the team since he has action advance plus energy regen, which M-Blade doesn't have. Yeah, I agree, Thick. I agree. But I will say, like, for those who really like Gilga, at E6, he's probably stronger than the previous version. I don't think I'm going to be able to go for E6 because that's such a long-term investment, you know? It just pay off more to probably get Avon. But for the people who do like him that much and, like, save for him, which is entirely possible, the banners are infinite, E6 Gilga is stronger than he used to be, so... Even in the Ashblade team, I'd imagine. Himeko Nova should get one of the biggest buffs from Nova Sunday. The reason I say this is they buffed her light cones. Okay, bro, why is there not a destruction light cone like this that is like as good for buffing? So I could have pulled it on Gilga. I'm sad. But her light cone now gives 32% defense shred for all of her damage. No restrictions. That's just the first thing. 32% defense shred. So E1 Sunday is 40% defense shred. They might nerf it to 38% the same way they nerfed Sparkle's E2 a bit, but then make it team wide, which would then put Himeko at 70% defense shred, which is really, really strong. But also, I don't know if it'd be best in slot, but with Emblade on the team, you'd automatically hit 100% defense shred, which is a astronomical buff. Emblade plus E1 Sunday that's gotten Nova'd and Himeko would be a disgusting buff to her damage output. So yeah, I could see them going that route when it comes to Himeko's team. I've also seen apparently like a few clears of people saying Sunday is way better than like the Doom posters were saying, which surprise, surprise, you know. Who could have expected that Doom posters overly Doom posted a character, right? But apparently one of Sunday's teams for Himeko is incredibly competitive with basically her best team overall. And that's without a Nova. Yeah, I think Novas are going to be 4.6. I've already said this before. Novas are usually either 2 patches apart or 4 patches apart. Is usually how the Novas are. So I'm assuming, you know, you had 4.0, then you had 4.2. There's none in 4.4. I'm just going to say that it's 4.6. And it makes sense. Once again, I've said this before. It's the Novas with Pearl release and EMC upgrade. So it's much easier for them to keep everything in line in that single beta and be like, oh yeah, this should be this power level. This should be this power level. This is how strong I want Pearl to be for Elation. Stuff like that. I will say, I think, and I could be wrong, I think a lot of people are going to be disappointed in Avin's gameplay. I don't think he's going to have high FUA frequency. I think he might function more similarly to Gilga, but he just synergizes way better than Gilga in comparison. Because if they make another highly attack frequent DPS, then they're just going to end up in another infinite ult loop. He kind of needs to just rely on the resources that Ashvale and Emblade generate for him instead of generating himself, in my opinion. Yeah, it would also synergize with Emblade's E2 if he's an ult nuker, which makes it even more probable. Because they usually don't make supports who have half-assed vertical investment for their best team. I think it's still pretty likely that Rembin is the new best Metmo DPS. I don't think Robin is going to be a DPS. I think Robin is going to be like an RMC upgrade for Evernight teams, which is why the leakers said what they said. Because Evernight main DPS, at least with optimal investment and like 8 or lower cost, is the better team over Cassie Mono Rem. But like the problem the team has always had is when you get into higher cost, well, you're stuck with RMC. He doesn't have any vertical investment, you know? So Evernight gets stuck on the vertical investment while Cassie doesn't. But if you release a limited version of RMC, that just goes out the window. She just automatically becomes the best Rem DPS. Yeah, I think she might be more restrictive for Rem teams and might not be as much of a generalist, but in turn she'll be that much stronger as a teammate, so we could see how it goes. Yeah, Verly. To be honest, I think the goal for Hoyo with the Fua team is that with vertical investment, they hit 100% defense shred and they hit 100% vulnerability. Because Blade and then Asheville E1 plus S1 is 100% vulnerability, and they're currently at 70% defense shred. So they'll probably hit 100% with Avin somehow. Opinion on Rin main DPS? I saw a showcase. It doesn't look bad. I mean, it obviously isn't intended, you know? So, like, but for something that isn't intended, for the people who really, really love her and want to go that far for her, I really think it doesn't look that bad. But I do think Goga is still better in comparison as a main DPS. Although, actually, I guess the reason there's a little more stigma around Gilga is because Rin's main DPS is actual main DPS, while his is just synergizing at least somewhat with Wheelchair. Like, Rin does basically all the damage herself, which makes people more happy. It's like a Phanon situation. Everybody gets happy when their favorite character is the one that does all the damage. I almost forgot about Eggy. Yeah. Eggy's a little washed these days, not gonna lie. To be honest, what I'm most curious about right now is what the fuck Avin and Robin are gonna look like after a leaker said that Avin and Robin were gonna have summer themed outfits as their design. Like, really? Like, am I about to see fucking Avin in beach shorts or some shit? And Robin in a bikini? Not that I'm complaining. I thought it was a skin. No, I believe they were referring to the base design. Astropolis is a resort. No, yeah, I know, but like I just like it's hard for me to imagine it. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's all I'm saying. It's kind of hard for me to imagine them and like their designs. To be honest, I saw someone bring up something. I know it's never going to happen, but there's this one Avon pirate design that looks so cool. I want it so bad, but I know it's not gonna happen because it's too overly detailed.
All things are connected by origin and are made of the same essence.
Yeah, look at this. This looks so sick. That was from Hoyo Fair? Yeah, I know. It's never going to happen, but it's just so cool. I wish they did it so bad. I'd even take it as a skin in the future, you know? Like, even if it isn't the base design, I have heard that HSR is getting more into the skin game. By the way, Kiwi, I forgot to tell you this. It seems HSR is getting more into the skin game now. So they recently had a Casterus skin in 4.4. Apparently Sparksy is supposed to get a skin, and then Hyacine and Eminesia are also supposed to get skins, either a patch or two patches after that. So they're getting way more into the skin game now. Probably sold well, yeah. I imagine Firefly. I think Firefly was the first like premium skin they started selling, and they probably saw that it did quite well considering Firefly's popularity. So then they tried it with Cassie, and then Cassie probably did decently well too. What do you think is a better investment for Archer team, E1 Rin or S1 Rin? S1 Rin. Her Lycone's like really good for buffing. Give Gilga a $300 bow skin that restores his V1. Nice. They have more skins in the game now? Yeah. Which gives me hopes that hopefully they just keep getting more and more into it. And they keep releasing some good stuff for more characters frequently. Because I doubt, like, there's no way it cost them that much to make a skin. In comparison to creating a new animations, an entirely new character, like all of that. A skin is so much cheaper, yet still a way to make money on the side. There's no reason for them to not do it. Oh yeah, that would be sick, Kiwi. Acheron and like that one specific skin in the kimono with her horns and stuff. Yeah. This one. I'd absolutely love this as a skin. I heard Acheron's skill skin. Well, we don't know the details about it, but I think it was the same thing I told you last time you were here, Kiwi. There's rumored buffs for Acheron, Gil, and Jing Yuan, but these buffs aren't like the buffs we've gotten so far with Nova Flares. They're paid in some way. We don't know the specifics yet, and they may update a character's animations, possibly. So you get a buff, you get an animation buff, but we just don't know the exact specifics yet. All we know is that according to Anon, it's Dil Jingyuan and Acheron who should get it this version.
Thank you so much for your help. If you want to keep going, get 'em.
Yeah, exactly. Like, all I care about is that they at least start releasing skins. Even if many see them as mid, and to be honest, I see them currently as mid as well. Because they'll obviously improve over time, no different to the way they improve animations over time. And they'll increase the frequency, which is what really matters. I read up that skins unfortunately cannibalize on existing profits for games that already make lots of money on banner sales, which is why less successful games have good skin variety. Really? How does that work? Is it because, like, people will be more incentivized to just stay with a specific character and spend money on their skin instead of the banners? I don't know. I have a feeling that the paid buff will be in the battle pass. Ooh. People would not be happy about that. I mean, it's at least more attainable than something that costs $50, but I don't think people would be happy with that. But at that point, it would make the battle pass probably on equal value as the monthly pass. Because you not only get the Lycone shards to eventually get a free 5-star Lycone among the golden token shop, but you also get fuel pulls and that as well. Boredom contributes to pulling a lot of the time. Guilty as charged. Guilty as charged. I'm not gonna lie. Ugh. Do you think the Fate teams are worth investing in, or do you think more main push stuff will be better in the long run? The Fate teams is weird because we only have two things to go off of, like two releases. So I was talking about this yesterday on stream. If they continue the trend of new Fate units fulfilling a different role in their respective teams with Archer and Gilga, I think the Fate teams, in all honesty, are completely fine. And I think the Doom posting is overrated. Like, yes, you're waiting a year for a DLC for the team. But let's say you have E0 S1 Saber, E1 S0 Gilga. I imagine that lasts you this entire version, you know? And Gilga's being given for free. And then you need to look at the trend of, like, the first Fate releases were 2 main DPSs. The second was 2 sub DPSs. So the next one should either be 2 sustains or 2 third slot supports. Which, if that's the case and they do synergize with these Fate teams, I think Fate is worth investing into. I think it's fine to invest into, especially with their banners being infinite. They're like the most accessible team in the game since they don't have any timer on their banners. And they get like a free new character for their teams every time. Nobody's pulling 2 sustains. You'd think that, but you need to understand by the time those 2 sustains come out, it'd be version 5. We haven't even gotten the version 4 new sustains yet, who will probably be stronger than the version 3 sustains. And then there's another jump to version 5, you know? Do you think full REM team is good E0 as 0? No. I think it can clear endgame content. But, like, if I would recommend investing into it, no. Anyone who invests in REM, the only thing I can say possibly is wait for Robin to see how she ends up shaping up for her REM teams. Because the like, mono REM for, like, low and average costs isn't even a top 10 team in this game. Like, top 15 might end up being a stretch by the end of this version, in all honesty. Like, they only really start spreading their wings when you put so much optimal investment into their Eidolons and, like, the certain Lycones and stuff. You're telling people to invest in something that will maybe happen next year? I literally just clarified that if this happens, the team is worth investing into, but that I don't know if that's going to happen. Please. Like, I don't know how much more clear I can be. I wouldn't be shocked if we only get 1 sustain this version. Nah. I think we will get 2. Jiao Q Nova is the most interesting because if Jiao Q gets Nova'd and his debuff numbers don't change, he's automatically stronger than any other sustain in the game. Because he's giving 35% vulnerability and he's a Nihility character, meaning you know what you can put on him? You can put this on him. So yeah, like at that point, he's basically amping the team as a sustain by like 50 to 60% more. My S5 Cypher Lycone has a use. It does. The defense shred on it is disgusting. Do we know who will release on 4.8? No clue. I do feel like though Jiao Q sustain is a bit cope. I'm not gonna lie. Like I lean more towards him not becoming a sustain, and they're just gonna like massively buff his numbers and his effectiveness and his QOL and his EHR requirements to just be better on Acheron teams. But I could be wrong. We'll see how that goes.
What do you mean? We try every single day. Just how is anyone supposed to?
If Pearl is in 4.6, they won't launch a new Sustain a patch later. I mean, what's stopping them? They could just do that. I'm not gonna lie. But even then, there's 4.8 as well. Do you have a Discord? Nope. How you doing? I'm probably gonna go for a bit of a walk after I end this stream. Because I like walking. That's how I'm doing. And then... I don't know what to do today. I'll just wait for Cyrene's banner, I guess, so I can record a video of me losing the 50-50. Today's gonna be a good day. Hope you're doing well. The memes on the Gilgamesh main subreddit have been a riot. Yeah, I had to mute that shit. Oh my god. Like... I'm just getting too old. Like, the overly doom posting agenda being funny to some people, all it does is rage bait me. Every time I see a post of, like, tier 4 Gilga. This garbage, worthless, trash character was completely butchered by Hoyo in V4. Yeah, exactly. Like, there's so much doom posting that people actually take all of it completely seriously, and then they genuinely get fooled. And they get, like, all their takes from these people that just lie for the agenda. Like, I've seen it countless times at this point. Like, people will take what the mains say seriously because they're a more casual player, and they think the mains know what they're talking about. But, like, the mains are just as clueless. At least most of them are. Yeah. I'm just glad that my E6 Saber can be a unit again without E2 Cyrene. Yeah, true. Like, once again, if you have higher investment Fate teams, this doesn't even affect you, to be honest. As well. Like, the E0 S1 baseline is already good enough, but especially with E6 Saber, it's like one of the best E6s among Ampho. And then you also get Gilga 4 free, and his E1 is pretty nice. His E1 with the 30% defense shred, like, you're completely in the clear at that point. Himiko, Himiko, Himiko. My Sunday is waiting for you. Ever so patiently. Is it weird? Okay, I feel like I've become Eidolon brain rotted. I'm more excited for his E1 getting changed than his base kit. Well, I'm equally as excited, but this is what I think of the most in terms of like Bitcoin if it gets changed. Like just think about it. 40% defense shred on an E1. Oh, the shenanigans I could pull off with this. Chew! Meta brain. Don't get my hopes up about Sunday Nova, especially E1. Just think about it. What they could do for all us Sunday mains. Thank you. That Sunday E1 baited so many people back then. Bro, like, I have a anger issue with the leakers back then. I remember the justification that one of the reliable leakers gave for why Sunday didn't synergize with Casterus was because supposedly the devs were too scared of how strong his E1 would be with Casterus, so they refused to give him good synergy because it would break the game's power ceiling. And it's like, oh, okay, right? Maybe I can kind of see that. Well, they give her Evernight and Cyrene. What the fuck was all that about? Oh, we can't make Sunday synergize with Cassie because it'd be too strong with his E1. And then they just release Evernight. Who by the way, Evernight's E1 is stronger than Sunday's. Like, oh my god, I was pissed. Oh yeah, Phanon also gets an upscale with Nova Sunday plus Sunday E1 getting changed. For sure. Because now, like, Sparkle was already given for free in 4.0. So you have Nova Sparkle. That's technically zero cost for a lot of people, but you know, if you want to be technical, it's one cost. But then you add Sunday plus E1 with a Ceridra. Ooh. E2 Fae, E2 S1 Fae with E1 Sunday, Nova Sparkle, and Ceridra would go nuts. Your cortisol is always high. This is just what happens when I look at HSR betas and I see misinformation being spread. I'm like there's bait and I'm a fish that got completely hooked, unfortunately. It's just, I don't know. I've tried working on it and I've become like more resistant to it. But when I blow, it's like I just can't stop being annoyed. It's just like my weird personality. Anything for more Fae? Oh, no, we were talking about Phanon. Not Fei Shao. Sorry. Sunday doesn't really matter for Fei Shao. Frick Phanon. I mean, surely they Nova Fei Xiao at some point. I've already talked about it before. I think the reason Fei Xiao's Nova is like taking longer than Firefly and Acheron's is because they really want to sell Avon right now. So she's probably not going to get her Nova till like version 5. It just is what it is. I wish I got his E2. Wow. A Phanon puller not getting his E2? Not even his E6? Shame. Black screen for a bit. So I can flex with an account that's completely bricked right now. This is the only chance I'll get. My E0 Phanon is just here looking pretty. Hey, I used E0 Phanon on my Cassie account. It did feel a little bricked, but he did clear everything. So, in the end, he at least did enough for me. Feast your eyes, Kiwi. This is what true omnipotence looks like. Oh. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. The greatest investment in HSR history, may I say. May I be so bold. By the way, I'm trolling. Like, his E6 is complete shit these days. But outside, the E2 is good, okay? The E2 is phenomenal. So that's really all that matters, to be honest. Wait, who's this? I got Eidolons. Sampo. Ooh, E6 finally.
Everyone has a colorful past, wouldn't you say?
Saber still Mogs because I like her more. Saber mains, man. Saber mains. I'll give you guys a little taste of my GOAT E6 Phanon.
Do you want to enter?
Just a bit of a taste. Ceredraless, unfortunately. Because I'm focused on the Fua team, okay? Don't knock me for it.
Can you find the answer? Just as flowers bloom for tomorrow.
This ends it all. Tempered 1,000 times.
Stars, shine for the heroes. Memories waiting to be woken up by a shooting star. Remember me with love. May world bearing ignite the dawn. Can you find the answer?
Return, you will serve as the tempering fire.
Don't blink. May the world be as we wish. Unite destruction with me. I'll go east to Earth.
Existence is for tomorrow.
I am missing a bit of a true damage buff but it's okay. We don't need 6% true damage anyways. Wow. Look at that damage. Like, who needs Ceridra? So overrated. A little counter. My biggest regret is not getting Fate on E2. Oh yeah, it was amazing. Still is. I think it's still the biggest E2 jump in the game. But Himiko is kind of close now. Wow. And now we do the cinema aura slow-mo. Oh, 6.6 million. Missing 6% true damage. That's what we call cinema. Okay, now I need to put M-Blade and Sparkle on the other team because my team is broke. I spent it all on E6 Phanon.
Let me see what's trending today.
Do you have any account with E2 Evernight? Yeah, my main account. Do you get E2 M-Blade? No, I couldn't. I'm on like 20 pity. That's as far as I could get.
Checked off the list.
Skipping Phanon in favor of Saber is by far my greatest regret at the moment. Yeah.
This is ridiculous. How come I keep
I mean, at least Saber, if you really like her, you know, it was a nice time. Also, there was a lot of propaganda going on around, like, Phase release, I remember, of people being like, Saber is better. Because Saber could 0 AV a shield APOC, and he couldn't.
Checked off the list.
E2 really does seem like the new norm. Yeah. If you want your characters to, like, feel as good as they did on release, basically a year later, E2 is basically the way to go for a lot of DPSs these days. E2 Faye, E2 Himiko, currently E2 M-Blade for the Fua team, I'd imagine. E2 Silverwolf for her team, E2 Evanesia. They all have good E2 jumps. Legit, all those teams.
Checked off the list.
Didn't really work with My Day. Yeah, that's just the earlier 3.x characters in general, though. Their vertical investment was worse than the late 3.x, and definitely worse than a majority of 4.x. The problem with My Day is, I always say this, you can tell that they never planned Cyrene's buff for him ahead of time, which made his E2 that was already mid even more useless. You know? Like, it just is what it is. His E2 that makes healing give him charge. Why does that matter when Cyrene can just buff you and you instantly get a free Godslayer every time she buffs you? You know? I mean, it's whatever on their part. They didn't know how to buff My Day. It's a similar situation to now. They don't know how to buff a specific character. There's a bunch of weird things going on. So they just go with the simplest thing that they can think of that could lessen the value of other things because they didn't plan for it in advance. They haven't released a healer for him still? Nope. Doesn't exist. There isn't a single new strong single target healer with AoE healing on the side. It's still just Hyacine that he needs to rely on. Hey Gabby, what is best, getting S1 Eva or get her E2? Her E2. What about that guy that was supposed to come out? He's never coming out at this point. He's the new age Screwlum Kiwi. He's the new age Screwlum. Where leakers say, oh, I swear he's coming out in a few patches. Like, every time a new version hits, and then he never comes out. It's all just bait. Who do you think is Himiko after sales? Sunday Nova, and I don't know who else, in all honesty. Like, genuinely, I have no clue. Oh yeah, when people believed that the Fate banners would only last a couple patches, or they were like, the Fate collab banners would leave when Archer stopped being free. But, I mean, at this point, everybody knows they aren't going anywhere. Because it's a long time thing. Scrollum's a myth too? Yeah. Rekka will be in NPC hell with Scrollum and with Capitano forever. Yeah, I don't know. I don't have much faith that they release anytime soon. I mean, I agree. Like, I don't think many people could have expected for the Fate banners to last as long as they have and will. To be honest, it's a good thing. Like, Saber E6 being the big Eidolon and Gilga E6 being the new big Eidolon for a Fate character, I'd be a lot more mad if it weren't for the fact that these banners are legit infinite. They're never going away. There's no downtime. You can consistently upgrade them, even if not E6, every single patch. Which makes it a bit more valuable. I want Stefan, but I don't think they're gonna release Stefan, I'm not gonna lie. This game doesn't have a single limited Shota. It doesn't exist. Copium, but what if? I just don't see it. I think there's a higher chance of Rekka releasing than Stefan.
This is ridiculous. How come I keep bumping into colleagues?
Believe in Opal? Not happening. What happened to the other IPC people? Nothing. You mean the 10 Stonehearts trailer? Yeah, none of them have released so far, I'm not gonna lie. I guess it was just a setup for the future. I don't think they're changing Sunday E1 that much. Himiko Nova S1 gives 32% defense shred and Welt gives 40%. Well, I'd imagine that, like, you can run M-Blade plus, what's it called? You can run M-Blade plus Sunday Nova, and you hit 100% defense shred almost exactly. Like, I'm just going to be honest with you. They aren't going to nerf Sunday's Nova and its functionality and the value of his E1 over a standard character. Like, they could care less. There's a higher chance they balance it around a new limited character like M-Blade than that they nerf it because of Welt. So, either way though, his E1 is still just as valuable on Welt teams. Because going from, with Welt and Himiko is 72%, going from 72% to 100% is still a massive damage jump because of how much stronger defense shred is on the later end. So it's still worth it.
How come I keep bumping into colleagues?
They can use the teen model like Yang Ching. I mean, yeah, I guess. But Stefan doesn't really look like the teen model at all. And neither does that one. I don't remember. Oh yeah, Opal. Yeah, Opal has like the Triby model.
This is ridiculous. How come I keep bumping into colleagues?
Do you think we will get Honkai Nexus characters in HSR? Uh, no, maybe. Doubt it. I think their original characters will probably stay original characters. He's Misha's model? I mean, maybe I could see it. It still feels a bit forced, though. Have there been any new 4-star characters? No. Just forget that they exist. It's never happening again. In my eyes, they've completely gotten rid of 4-star characters to make free limited 5 stars, which I prefer, and they also prefer, because they definitely make way more money off of free limited 5 stars. Because if you really like a free limited 5 star, you'll end up going for their vertical investment to make them last longer. But for 4 stars, it was like you need them E6 to be competitive with limited 5 stars in the first place at all. So that's why I imagine they went down the free 5-star route. E6 Gilgamesh got nerfed? No. In what world did it get nerfed? It got buffed.
This is ridiculous. How come I keep bumping into colleagues?
It went from a free Enuma Leash to crit damage percent. For one, the free Enuma Leash had 2x the requirement of the crit damage percent buff. Meaning the crit damage percent buff activates twice as often. And then 2, the bounce damage multiplier was more than doubled on the new E6 in comparison to the old one. So the new E6 is definitely stronger. Like you could downplay a crit damage buff if it was like 50%, 100%. It's a 300% crit damage buff. It's an insane buff. Like for reference before, like at E6, Gilgamesh's ultimate single target is a 2200% multiplier now, and 1800% of that multiplier is bounce damage. And then that gets 30, or sorry, not 30, 300% crit damage.
How come I keep bumping into colleagues?
Yeah. The old E6 was better in the context of high investment FUA teams, because obviously more attack frequency means the easier it is to have an infinite ult loop or just save a ton of AV. But since it's obvious that they got rid of this infinite ult loop, they changed the way his interest stacks work so he no longer gets action advanced. It is better with his new E6. Like, I can easily see E6 Gilga and E2 Emblade allowing him to hit like 10 milli plus ults pretty consistently. Although, to be honest, I don't really understand why they keep trying to push energy regeneration on his Eidolons like E4 and Lycone when energy regeneration does like nothing for him, because a majority of his energy regen is fixed energy. His E1 is fixed energy. His charge when allies ult is fixed energy. It's just kind of weird. 10 million is low? What are you saying? Brother, 10 million is not low. My E6 Phanon with E2 Cyrene, Sparkle, and E1 Emblade Sustainless, the most his Meteor does is 4.5 million. unless there's something helping with the buffs.
This is ridiculous. How come I keep bumping into colleagues?
Yeah, it's the highest multiplier in the entirety of the game. Well, I have noticed that a lot of people are fooled if you just put enough quantity on a Lycone instead of quality. Like, I've seen this at this point with, like, people somehow disagreeing with me on M-Blade's Lycone take. And now people are also saying they're pulling, like, Gilga's Lycone. I guess it does fool some people into thinking, like, oh, energy regen. He really relies on energy regen and he has a high energy. This must be very important. But, like, I looked at Calx a little bit ago. Apparently his Lycone is only 6.5% better than the Herda Shop Destruction Cone, which is insane. It's basically useless. Like, no joke, I think it's worse than Archer's Cone for Archer. So, like, if you're choosing between the two and you're playing both teams, it's better to probably pick Archer's Lycone. What's Saber Gil's new team? It's the same team. Saber, Gilgamesh, and then Armsy or M-Blade and especially E2 M-Blade, since they're both ult DPSs who would benefit massively from E2 M-Blade. And the best sustain for the team is by far Huo Huo. Like, nobody comes close to Huo Huo in terms of being a sustain for the Saber and Gilga team. M-Blade guy is everywhere. The most simple way to understand it, Kiwi, is he's just the new gen Tribby. Like, he's just such a strong generalist that on older teams and current ones, he's best in slot for nearly everything. Until, in the future, they obviously make units to purposely be stronger than him. But for now, that's how it goes. What was designed best for old characters? Yeah, and especially with Gilga. The Gilga synergy is what makes it so special, because Gilga gains 30% of the energy an ally used for activating their ultimate, so it double dips. He gets 30% of Huo Huo's ult energy, and then Huo Huo also gives him, at the exact same time, 20% of his cap energy, which is really, really nice synergy. And then, of course, because of their high energy cost, they get the attack buff. All that good stuff. Do you think E0 Blade is the equivalent of E1 Tribby on release, though? E0 Blade is the equivalent of E0 Tribby on release. E1 and E2 M Blade is equivalent to E1 Tribby on release. In terms of, like, the impact they had on the meta. Obviously, M-Blade is much stronger than Tribby, but given the way people talked about them and used them in different teams, it's the same. Yeah, Huohuo Doom posting was like overdone. People were just hating on her because they didn't make her someone who could sustain completely flawlessly after the Nova. Which I do agree. I wish they buffed the sustain capability to be a lot cleaner. But like for example, a few streams ago, I did an endgame clear on it was either this account or another account with my Huohuo having less than 3k max HP, a level 50 light cone, traces unleveled, and she actually sustained every endgame somehow, except for AA. Like, I did the main 3 endgames and she sustained all of them at that investment level. So,
This is ridiculous. How come I keep bumping into
what does buffed Woho do differently? Well, her heals are fatter. Um, she now has this thing where she gives a bigger attack buff depending on how high energy a character on your team is, I'm pretty sure. Yeah. If an ally target's max energy is 160 or higher, additionally increases attack by 24%. Um, and they just made her out of turn healing better and more consistent, if I remember correctly. Yeah. So her base kit now functions, I believe, as her older version. Her older version used to only give, I think, 2 out of turn heals or something like that, or it had like a 2 turn cooldown. Now it's 3, and then at E1 it's 4. So they moved some of the things from her old E2 into her E1, and then the E1 is also a speed increase now, which is nice. And you don't need to use her skill that often because of how much more effective her out of turn heals are now. So you can use her in more like SP neutral teams and SP negative teams, so long as you aren't going against enemies that are completely dumping on you. So better sustained capability, better buffing, changes to the Eidolons. Oh yeah, the ult refreshes her stacks as well. Can I still use Gilgamesh with Fu if I have E2 Blade? Yeah. Guys, Gilgamesh isn't like bricked. Like he got nerfed in the team, but like I've already seen an AA King Zero Cycle using Gilga with E2 Blade. Like if you put in a bit of investment, the team is still one of the strongest in the entire game. I was looking at it earlier on Reddit because obviously when I wake up now, there's going to be significantly more clears. Yeah. Like there's an E0 S0 Gilgamesh Blade Tribi Ashvale Sam Zero Cycle. There's E1 Gilga with E2 Blade, E1 Tribi, and then Huohuo. Zero cycling AA King. In Sustainless, he has, I think, a 3 or a 4 cause zero cycle against AA King. I think that's a 4 or 5, actually, yeah. It went from 3 to now being 4 or 5 because of the nerfs. Oh yeah, you're still chilling, Kiwi.
This is ridiculous. How come I keep bumping into colleagues?
Can Wolvo face tank Lygus and PF? She can. Yeah, yeah. I used Wolvo for my Pure Fiction clear, I'm pretty sure, on my Silver Wolf team. And I used her against the Lygus side. Oh, wait. This is the wrong account. But on my main account, with my Mono Rem and Silver Wolf team, I used Wolvo against Lygus and she sustained. E2 M-Blade, though? Yeah, but like, what do you want people to do? The best investment in Gilga teams is E2 M-Blade. Like, they're obviously going to go for it for the low-cost clears. It just is how it is.
This is ridiculous. How come I keep bumping
I'm talking
into
about the
colleagues?
phase change attack. Yeah, I know. Huohuo sustained for me. I know. The big nuke attack he does after you kill 10 of the side minions. Yeah. Like, Lygus's nuke is bounce. So, it's usually a bigger issue when you have either one, incredibly low HP teammates for whatever reason, like max HP, or two, Phanon. Like, Phanon, when he's in his ult, because the attack is bounce, he takes way more damage.
This is ridiculous. How come I keep bumping into colleagues?
Alright, chat. I'm going to end the stream here. Thank you all for being here. In 2 hours and a half, I'm going to pull for Cyrene. Wish me luck. Or actually, it's 3 hours and a half. Hope you all have a great day. Hope you all have a great night.